Guys, now I have only my front panels here, as you can see. Okay, I label this as front 1, front 2 and front 3. So this will help me to distinguish between the front and the back panels, because each panels are not of the same shape. So you have to label your fabrics accordingly before joining the pieces together. In joining the pieces together, so now I will be working with my pattern. So this is my pattern. This is the way I have my pattern before cutting it out. This is the center front. Okay, so this is the middle, which is the F2, and this is the side seam, which is the F3. Okay, so on my fabrics I have this F1 is going to be at the middle, which I have here. So I have 3 on this side and I have F2 on this side. So I will arrange my fabrics exact way I have my pattern. Okay guys, now I've rearranged my fabrics the exact way I have my pattern. This is F3, this is F2, and this is F1. Okay, so when you are joining your pieces together, you have to take note of the side where your dart falls, which is here. You can see what I have here. If I place my pattern on my fabrics like so, I have my dart point on the same direction with my fabrics, because I've placed a notch here. This is the dart point, so which means this side is the dart side. So on my pattern as well, if I place it, the both meet properly. So in case you arrange yours and your dart falls on the other side, all you need to do is just to flip your pieces like so. So if you flip it and you place your pattern, they will be in the same direction. But as for me, I don't need to flip my fabrics because I have my pattern on the same direction with my pattern already. And for the F2, I have my dart on both sides, which is here and here. And on my pattern as well, I have the dart on both sides. And in order to be very sure of what I have here, I place 2 notches on one side and 1 notch on the other side. So on my fabric as well, I must have this in the same direction. So here I have 1 notch, and on my pattern on this direction I have 2 notches. So what I will be doing is I will just flip this over like so. So I will make the 2 notches to fall on the 2 notches side. You can see what I have. So here I have 1 notch on this side and 2 notches on this side, because both sides are with that. So I have to place the notches in order to distinguish between the two. So now this is settled, which means this part of the dart is going together with this side of the F1. You can see what I have. And for the double notched side on the dart line is going together with the side seam, which is the F3. Now I have my fabrics properly arranged and aligned together with my pattern. So the next step is to start joining the pieces together. So now I will start joining with the F1. Okay, so I will hold the 2 pieces together like so, right side facing the right side. Then I will stitch on the center front side. So that is a straight side on my fabrics. You can see what I have. This side is very straight. This is the center front. So that was why I aligned my fabrics properly first before joining, so that you don't misplace the dart side for the center front. So here is the center front. I will take this to my sewing machine and I will stitch with half of an inch of seam allowance from the waistline downward to the hemline. So guys, now I have the center front joined together, and this is what I have after joining. So the next step is to join the F1 together with the F2. So here is my F2. Okay, so I will open up the F1 like so. Then I will pick one of the F2 and I will position it right side facing the right side on the F1. Then I will pick one of the F2 and I'll place it on the F1, right side facing the right side. Now I have two sides on the F2 and the two sides are that side. Okay, so you can see what I have on the pattern. This side I have two dots, and on this side I have one dot. So the part that I have two sides is not for the F1, it's for the F3. So the part that I have one dot is for the F1. So I will have to position this in such a way the one dot side falls on the front side. So this is what I'm trying to say. If I position this like so, the two dots is falling on the F1. But if I position it on this side, so the joining is going to be on the one notch point I have on the dot line. So I have to position this on this one part, which is this side. You can see what I have here. This is one notch and this is two notches. The two notches side is for the F3, not for the F1. So I will have to position my pieces in such a way the part that I have one notch falls on the F1, which is the center front. So I'll position this like so. So by the time I stitch this together and I open it up, the double notch part is going to be for the F3. You can see what I have here. So I will position this like so, and the second piece like so. Can you see? I will align the notch points to meet each other, and I will pin them together like so. So on the waistline as well, I will make this to align properly. Okay, so now that I have this done, I will pin the remaining parts, and I will be stitching with 1/2 inch of seam allowance from the waistline downward to the hemline. Then on this side as well, I will stitch with 1/2 inch of seam allowance from the waistline downward to the hemline. So I will be doing this off the camera, and I will be back to show you the next step. Okay guys, now I have this joined together. I've joined the F2 together with the F1, and this is what I have after joining. This is the wrong side, and if I open it up like so, I will have the right side. So these two pieces are the F1, while this and this are the F2. So the next step is to join the F3 together with this in order to have it as a single piece. Okay, so in doing this, I will open this up like so, and I will pick my F3, two pieces of the F3. So I will be placing one on this side. Okay, so make sure you place the dart side to align with the edges here, because this is the dart line as well. So this is a dart line and this is a side seam. This side is a side seam, so this side is a dart line. So I will position mine. If I position it this way, you can see I have the side seam on the dart side here, so this cannot go with this particular piece cannot go with this. So that is why I told you, when you are cutting your fabrics, make sure you maintain one positioning of fabrics. If you are folding your fabrics right side facing the right side, make sure you maintain that all through. And if you are folding it wrong side facing the wrong side, make sure you maintain the positioning all through, so that you will not have issue when you are constructing. Because for each pieces I have here, the both sides are not equal. What I have here is different from what I have here, so I cannot construct this together with this. This side, which is a dart side, has to be on the dart side as well. So I will position it like so. So you can see what I have here. So this second piece is going to be for this right side facing the right side. So by the time I open it up, I will have the side seam on both edges. Okay, now I'm aligning the dart points to match up properly, and I'll hold this together with my sewing pin. You can see what I have here. Okay, so on the waistline as well, so on the other side, so I will make the dart points to match up properly. So now I have this. The next step is to take this to my sewing machine, and I will be stitching with 1/2 inch of seam allowance from the waistline downwards to the hemline. So by the time I open this up after stitching, I will have the front panels as a single piece. Guys, now I have all the front pieces joined together, and this is what I have after joining. So you can see in total I have 6 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is what I have for the whole of front panel. Okay, and on the wrong side I have this. I opened up the seam allowances and I gave it a press. So I have all my seam allowances laying flat. You can see what I have. So after joining the main fabrics, then I joined the lining the exact way I joined the main fabrics. So this is what I have for the lining, and I have 6 pieces in total for this as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And on the wrong side I opened up the seam allowances and I gave it a press. Now that I have all this done, the next step is to shape the waistline. Okay, so we cannot skip this step because this is going to stay around the waistline, and the waistline is not on a straight line, so we have to give this a very good shaping. So in doing this, I will fold my front panel into 2 like so, and I will make sure the seam points are aligned properly. This has to be with this and this has to be with this. So you can see what I have. So here is the center front and this is the side seam. Okay, then on the center front I will measure half of an inch downward from the waistline downward by half of an inch, and I mark the point. Okay, then I will take this point to meet with the side seam. So I will be making use of my very firm curve. The straight side is coming to the side seam while the curved side is going to be on the center front. So not much curve but a slightly curve. So this is just to give the waist area a kind of round shape. So you can see what I have. Then I will shape it like so. So the next step is to trim off this part, that's the upper part. So I will cut it like so. So with this, the waistline is not going to be on a straight line. So, and this is going to serve as an ease for the stomach area as well. So if you are making your dress for a slim figure, you don't need to use up to half of an inch. So you'll be using 1/4 of an inch. So instead of measuring half of an inch downward, you will measure 1/4 of an inch downward. But if you are making your dress for someone with a round tummy, so you need to use up to half of an inch. Okay, so for flat tummy, 1/4 of an inch. For round tummy, half of an inch. So now I have this done. Then I will be shaping the lining as well. So I will shape the lining the exact way I shaped the main fabric. Okay guys, now I have the waistline properly shaped on the main fabrics and on the lining. Okay, so this is what I have. So I will have to take this back to my sewing machine and I will relock all the edges of my seam line. You can see what I have here. So because I've cut out the locked part I have on the waist area, so I will have to relock the edges like so. Every part that I cut, I will relock the edges, both on the fabrics and on the lining. You have to do this so that your seam will not rip off as time goes on. So I'll put this aside and I'll go to the joining of the back panels. So guys, now I have my back panels here. I have 6 pieces in total. This is the B1, 2 pieces, the B2, 2 pieces, and the B3, 2 pieces. So now I will be joining these together the same way I joined the front panels together. Okay, and I will start with the B1. On the B1 I have the dart line and I have the zipper allowance line, which is the center back. So firstly I will be joining the center back together, which is the zipper allowance. Okay, so I will be joining with 1 inch of zipper allowance I added. So after joining, I will open it up like so, and I have something like this. So this is the dart line and this is a dart line, and I will pick my B2, then I will be joining the dart line on the B2. So this is the part that falls on this side. So if you are confused, you can go back to your pattern and rearrange it. So this is the B1, this is the center back, so this is going to be on this side, and this is the B2. I have it here. Can you see what I have? So that side is for the center back, and here is the B3, the side seam, and the dart side. So the dart side on the side seam is going to be for the dart side I have on the B2, just like this. And I arrange my pattern the same way I arrange my fabrics. You can see what I have. So which means this side is going together with this side. So I will open this up like so, and I will pick one of these for this right side facing the right side, and this right side facing the right side to be for this. Okay, so then I will be stitching with 1/2 inch of seam allowance on this side. So when you are stitching, don't forget your notch points must align properly. The dart point must meet with the dart point, while the hip point must meet with the hip point. Okay, so I have this like so. Then on the other side, I will stitch with 1/2 inch of seam allowance as well. Okay, so after stitching, I will have it like so. So I will open it up. So now I have 4 pieces joined together. You can see what I have. Then I will pick the B3. I have the dart line on this side, and I have the side seam on this side. Okay, so I will be placing this right side facing the right side. So this is coming to this. The dart side must match up with the dart side. Okay, and for this as well, that side to that side. And I will stitch with 1/2 inch of seam allowance as well. Okay, so on the other side, 1/2 inch of seam allowance. So when I open it up, I will have it like so. So now I have 6 pieces in total for the back panel. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, and I will join the lining also the same way I joined the main fabrics. So I will be taking this to my sewing machine. I will stitch off the camera, and I will be back to show you the next step.